Hi everyone, it's Sean from What Up and welcome back to another video. Now tonight we're going to talk about a couple of different things, but mainly it's going to be about the end of filming for Season 2 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. The cast, the crew, they posted a bunch of stuff on Instagram, and WantSeries.com did an article about it, basically talking about the end of filming for Season 2. However, we haven't had an official word from Sony or Amazon basically stating they've wrapped, which is not unusual at this point because they don't like to release a lot of official information. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a couple of cast posts like the one you see here on screen of Eola Smart that may give some clues as to their costume or how their character looks for Season 2. And we're also going to talk about those Waygates. Now, there was a couple of Waygate pictures that kind of circulated around that we couldn't show from before, but now there's a ton of them all over Instagram because one of the Waygates was built out in the middle of nowhere where people were windsurfing, and, well, we can share that because a bunch of tourists took pictures of it. Now, if you're new to the channel and you don't know what we do here, we cover Wheel of Time show news, so anything and everything to do with Wheel of Time, that's what we do. Now, in the next coming days, we're going to do a bunch of speculation videos. These speculation videos will be how they're going to fit certain aspects of the lore, or maybe even cut it out completely of Season 2. They're going to be really fun. Watch them over the weekend. I really like making those type of videos because I like speculation, and it's a whole lot of fun for me. Now, before we actually get into the video, I'm going to give a slight spoiler warning. Spoiler warning! In this video, we're talking about the end of filming for Season 2 and certain aspects of Season 2. So if you haven't watched Season 1 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show and read at least the first 3 books of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, that's The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn, be forewarned, I may ruin plot points and character arcs from all of them. All right, that being said, let's get on to the video. All right, now we're going to talk about a couple of cast posts. Now, the first one we'll talk about is from Eola Smart, who is cast as Avienda for Season 2 and beyond of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. Now, Rafe Judkins announced this at JordanCon, and he also announced that she was participating in the Battle at Falme, which I'm going to cover extensively in another video because it does change a lot of things for her character arcs in the show versus the books, which at this point no one should be shocked about. They're trying to fit in the ebb and flow of the story while cutting a bunch of stuff. They're probably going to change some major things, and I've heard they're changing even more for Season 2 than they did for Season 1, although it will be much better. I don't know what that means, but that's what I've heard from a couple of different people, and I'm pretty excited for it. Now, Eola posted this picture here, and some people speculated that she's in costume. I don't think so. Mainly because Sony and Amazon are really, really very good about taking down stuff that they don't want out there. So when the cast or crew posts something that maybe shouldn't be seen, Sony and Amazon generally get a hold of it and ask them to take it down. And we've seen that before when they've actually leaked cast members, they've leaked costumes, they've leaked all kinds of different stuff accidentally, either in Instagram stories, Instagram posts, or on Twitter. That stuff gets taken down pretty quickly, and Sony and Amazon basically just tell them, don't do that again. This post is still live. You can still go see it if you take a look at Eola Smart's Instagram. So chances are it's not a costume, it's just something she's wearing because it's comfortable in the desert where it's really hot there. But something interesting to note is her hairstyle. Now, her hairstyle is in dreads, which we've seen in a number of shots, and I think that she's probably going to keep that for the show. Now, this is a pretty important thing, but it is a spoiler for much later in the series than I gave for the entire video. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give a spoiler warning for Memory of Light. It's book 14 of the Wheel of Time series, so the entire series. If you read the entire series or you don't care about spoilers, this next bit's going to be a bit of a spoiler much later on in the series. If you don't want to hear it, just skip ahead about 30 seconds. A little awkward, but this is just one tidbit of the video that doesn't encompass the first 3 books. That's why I'm doing this. All right, last warning, skip ahead now about 30 seconds. All right, the reason I think she's going to keep the dreads hairstyle is because in Season 1, we've seen the Tinkers with a lot of them had dreadlocks. Now, that was really cool, really visual, really neat to see, but we do know that the Aiel and the Tinkers have a common ancestry, and I think it might be one way to visually showcase that on screen for the viewers and maybe even talk about it earlier on than we do here in the books. All right, so that's the spoilers now. So if you skipped ahead, we're almost to about 30 seconds or so, so you're fine now. No more spoilers. I just talked a little bit about the picture here and did some speculation. That's all that was. All right, second photo we're going to talk about here is of Roseman Pike. Now, again, people speculated this photo here was taken of her in costume. Again, I don't believe so. It's a public photo. You can still see it. It's still up on Instagram. If it showcased anything that Sony or Amazon didn't want people to see, they would have taken it down, I believe. Again, I really don't know Roseman Pike's fashion sense, if this is something that she would normally wear, but it's the desert. It's hot. It's uncomfortably warm. Would she be wearing something like this there? I don't know. It looks cottony and light and maybe, pretty breathable. Might be nice in the warm weather. I have no idea. For those of you that maybe know fashion or Roseman Pike just a bit better than I do, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Is this, you think something from the show, or do you think it's just her regular clothes? Myself, I'm leaning more towards regular clothes, but this was taken in and around the time of filming in Morocco, just like Eola Smart's photo. So really neat to see anyway, to see the cast and the crew interacting in and around Morocco when they were filming there, because we got to understand they're done filming now. All right, now we're going to talk just a bit about Waygates. Now, these Waygates, well, these are new, and these particular photos were posted by Wheel of Time Love, which is an art from the Daily Trolloc on Instagram, and they made their way onto Reddit and Twitter and a bunch of different places, Facebook and stuff, but they were taken from a bunch of very public Instagram accounts, including a couple tourism accounts, because let's face it, they built this Waygate out in the middle of nowhere, and it was a popular windsurfing and water sports spot for locals and tourists. So a bunch of people took pictures of it. So it's absolutely fun to showcase this, because this is from people just kind of like, having fun in and around what would be a set, which is really neat. Now, it's cool to see this, but we got to speculate just a little bit on what's happening here. Now, with these Waygates, we've already seen one in the jungle, and now we're seeing one in a beach area. So we have the water. It's actually in the water, which is kind of neat. But what does that mean for the second season? So that's a total of 3 Waygates now. We've seen the Waygate for Tarvalon, we've seen the Waygate in the jungle with the vines on it, and we've seen this Waygate out in the middle of nowhere for the beach. So, if I had to guess, there's only a couple of spots that I think are going to be in Season 2. One of them is Tyr. I think we're getting Tyr, even though we've had absolutely no indication of that. And you got to remember, they filmed at the studio, they filmed in Prague, they filmed in Italy, and they filmed in Morocco. Now, Morocco is definitely not Tyr. We're pretty sure it's Falme, because it's pretty much been told that it's Fall May, especially when Rafe did his video. So what does that mean? So what are these Waygates? What could they be? So the one in the jungle with the vines on it, I think, is probably the one by Tyr, because you remember back in Season 1 when they did the cold open with Swan and her father, it was very lush, very jungle, very tropical-y. It had some vines and stuff in the background. It would fit very well into that motif. So we have a Waygate there, possibly Tyr. Maybe it's Kyrian, maybe it's somewhere else. I really don't know, but I would like to think that it's probably Tyr. We're probably going to get elements of Tyr in Season 2, and I would like to think that Rand travels from Tyr all the way to Falme to kind of help out in the big battle there, after drawing Kalendor and proclaiming himself the Dragon Reborn there. I really don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle that, but they're going to have to get through some of these storylines pretty quick. In Book 2 and 3, they can really mash together. This one here, this Waygate here, I 100% believe this is probably the Waygate at Falme. It's at the beach. Falme is a coastal city. Makes sense to me. They come out here. This is probably where the girls come out. We're talking to Egwene, Elaine, and Nynaeve when they're taken through the waves to Falme and Egwene is captured. This is probably where that happens. It's my guess anyway, unless they change some other major elements of the story, which is quite possible. Like I said, we really don't know at this point. It's a lot of speculation. So let me know what you folks think in the comments down below. Do you think we're looking at Tyr and Falme for these Waygates, or am I completely out to lunch and this is something different? I want to hear your theories on this. Now, we have the wrap stuff. So we know Season 2 is done filming, mainly due to the fact that a lot of the cast, the crew, different people involved in the production have posted that they're done. And they are. These are public Instagram posts. Anyone can see them. So these things are out there, and they're saying that they're completely done filming. So they're done filming. Now, WatchSeries.com also did an article on this. It is a really great article. I'll left the link to it down below in the description box if you folks want to check that out, and I recommend you do, because WatchSeries is absolutely fantastic. It's with a ton of great Wheel of Time news. So we know they're done filming for Season 2, although we've had no official announcement from Sony and Amazon. Nor do I really expect one. They've given absolutely almost zero information. In fact, I think Rafe Judkins, the showrunner, is the one that's given us the most information, although 100% sanctioned by Sony and Amazon, but we're not getting any press releases. We're not seeing anything released to them through Vanity Fair, Deadline, any of those other big things that they did for Season 1 for the marketing just prior to the release. And I don't think we're going to see much of anything. Now, I've heard from a number of different sources that we're probably looking at, not a media blackout, I guess that's a bad way to put it. They're not going to purposely not say anything about Wheel of Time, but they're just not going to talk about it too much until after Lord of the Rings is done. There may be some things here and there, some things for the fans, but we're not going to see a whole lot of coverage of it, and they're definitely not ramping up marketing until after Lord of the Rings is done, because Lord of the Rings is Amazon's focus, and let's face it, that's probably going to be their moneymaker this year. Now, we have heard that Season 2 may come out in 2023. Now, I've heard that from a couple of different sources on my end. We've also had Rafe Judkins saying that it's going to be a ways away. We're looking at quite a bit of a wait, and it definitely will be after Lord of the Rings. So we're either looking at very late this year or next year. If I had to put money on something, I'd say May, June next year. And we do know they started filming Season 2 about 4 months prior to the release of Season 1. So it was greenlit. We knew they were filming. All those things were going on. We still don't have official confirmation that they've greenlit season 3 yet, and we don't know when they're going to be filming. They start filming 4 or 5 months in advance like they did last time. Who knows? If that's the case, we'll probably start seeing them film in January. If it's going to be a May-June release next year, we'll probably start seeing them start filming in August, September. If it's going to be later this fall. We're going to keep an eye on that. We're going to hopefully know when they're going to start filming again. We're watching everybody's social media and whatnot. And I'm asking people I talk to daily. Nobody's telling me anything, but I'm still asking. But we're going to do our best to find that out and keep an eye on that. Now, something I want to mention before I go here is I was recently on Talker Android and I did a rap party with them. It was with Omar and Sarah from WhatSeries.com and Joe, Jen, and Tom from Talker Android, and it was a whole lot of fun. I've left a link to that down below in the description box if you folks want to check it out. I had a really great time with them. We had a lot of laughs, a lot of fun and stuff. But I was asked a very important question on that show, and I want to ask you folks the same question. So the question I was asked was, am I as excited for season 2 as I was for season 1? And that's a fair question. It's 100% a fair question. I gave an honest answer there, and I'll give the same answer here in case you folks didn't get to see that, see the podcast. They did do a live version on YouTube, which is what I'm linking down below. But my answer was this. For season 1, my expectations were super high. Very, very high. And I was very, very excited. I was probably more excited for the release of the Wheel of Time than anything else in any kind of media that I've watched, whether it be a Marvel movie, the Lord of the Rings movies when they came out, anything. I was more excited for Wheel of Time than anything else, which means I hyped it up a lot to myself. Now, let's face it, I knew a lot about season 1 before it came out. I knew all of the changes. I knew the general ebb and flow of the plot. I had scripts, I had call sheets, I had all kinds of stuff that wasn't made public. I managed to get hold of those things, didn't talk about them publicly, and it didn't temper any of my excitement. It made me more excited. Because let's face it, although the changes are not popular with a lot of people, I love them. I really love the changes because it's a way to see more Wheel of Time content. We haven't had anything new in the Wheel of Time realm in years. A very, very long time. And this is a way to see familiar characters, familiar faces, and be surprised and excited. But when the show came out, and this is something I talked about extensively in my reviews and different things like that, I was disappointed. I want to get something very straight here. I love the show. I loved all the episodes. I loved everything about it. But I was disappointed, and I had criticisms. And I was disappointed mainly because I was expecting something incredible. And what we got was something good. That makes any sense. They had editing problems, pacing problems with some of the dialogue and writing, problems with COVID restrictions. So COVID had them shut down a couple times. We had an actor leave. There were all kinds of different things that happened that caused problems, that caused choppy, jarring changes that were very noticeable. We had to, they had to do extra post-production they weren't expecting to, which decreased the quality of some of the CGI they used. And I'm a big fan of good CGI, but I hate bad CGI. And we had those PlayStation 2 Trollocs in episode 8. I was pretty upset about it. So, like I said, I was very, very excited. And because I was so excited, I was disappointed. So for season 2, I'm tempering my excitement. Not because I expect it to be worse than season 1, not in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I'm hearing completely opposite. I'm hearing it will be absolutely phenomenal and blow season 1 out of the water, which is fantastic. But I don't want to be at that level of excitement where I watch the first episode and go, oh, okay. I want to temper my excitement and be pleasantly surprised if it's phenomenal, if that makes any sense at all. So that's my honest answer to that. And I want to hear your folks' honest answers to this in the comments down below. Now, it's not the same answer a lot of other content creators will give you. They say they love absolutely everything about the show, regardless of what happens. I'm not like that. I'm truthful. I still love the show. I still love the actors. I love the acting. I love a lot of things about it. But I did have complaints about the first season, and they're publicly known. I've talked about them a lot. But I'll hear your folks' comments down below. What do you think about the second season? Are you as excited for season 2 as you were for season 1? If you want to see my original response to this, again, that link to the Talker Android YouTube video is down below in the description box. Check that out. Now, one thing I will say before we go is that a lot of people claim to truly dislike the show, like completely. They don't like it at all. They're very vocal about it on social media, very vocal about it on Reddit. There's whole Reddits just dedicated to the fact that the show is terrible and they don't like it. A lot of people, especially in the comments of my videos, are you folks watching, some of you really, really dislike the show, and you make it very, very known in the comments down below. And it's okay not to like something, absolutely. But the comments tend to get very personal, tend to get centered around a lot of, hate and racism and bigotry, things like that. Like I said, it's okay not to like something. But what's to me is really interesting, is that these people that dislike the show so much are still following all of the news. They're still following everything for season 2. They will most likely watch season 2. I mean, why would you be following news about season 2 unless you plan on watching it, in my opinion anyway? So they're still going to give it a chance. So here's the thing. I think season 2 is going to blow season 1 completely out of the water, and I think it'll completely redeem the show in a lot of people's eyes. There are some people, of course, that unless it's a true book to screen adaptation, not adaptation, I guess, true book to screen port is the better word, they're not going to be happy. Again, it's an adaptation. They're cutting a bunch of stuff out. They're amalgamating storylines. There's going to be a lot of new stuff. I, for one, love that sort of thing, and I'm excited about it. But it's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's absolutely fine. So, again, let me know what you folks think in the comments down below. All right, and remember, watch this weekend for a couple more videos from me. We're going to talk about season 2, how I think they're going to cut certain plot lines, add certain plot lines, and what we may see for it. Again, pure speculation. I have no inside information whatsoever, but it's always fun to speculate. Thank you so very much for sticking with me here to the very end. Here's to many more.